Welcome back to the Farm to Table Show. Today we dig in a subject that is increasingly urgent: regenerative ranching versus the conventional industrial agricultural model. For decades, the mainstream has favored large scale monocultures, heavy chemical use, confinement systems, and economies of scale that often externalize cost onto the soil, health, water, biodiversity, and of course the rural communities. But more and more farmers and ranchers are asking, what if we let nature lead? What if our animals, pastures, and soils work in harmony instead of in opposition? We've seen some compelling voices in this space. Judy, for example, has made a name for himself by embracing intensive rotational grazing, mimicking wild herd movement, and putting soil health at the core of his system rather than as an afterthought. He's openly shared both successes and failures, how he started the journey essentially from zero, how he's built a multi farm operation, how he's inventing or adapting tools like unrolling hay instead of feeding in feeders to reduce waste and improve efficiency. But regenerative ranching is not a one size solution, and every farm has its context, climate, land history, capital, market access, local culture. What works in one place might not directly translate into another, but success often comes down to adaptability, observation, and perseverance. So today we're privileged to have with us Rich and Shelley from Air2Ground Farms, with, who have taken a bold leap forward toward regenerative, holistic food production. We'll explore their journey, the challenges they face, the mindset shifts required, and where they see the future of farming heading. We'll also talk about scalability, trade offs, and how consumers can meaningfully support that shift. So let's get into it. And with that, let me bring my brother on in and say good morning to bro. Good morning, bro.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, tablers. I'm really looking forward to today's show. We've got our special guest, which we met up in Ozarks, the Ozarks Homesteading Expo, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so we know, if, for those who don't know, and you should, this is the Farm to Table Show, where we connect the homesteading and outdoor communities with a focus on preparedness and self reliance. Those are important things to us. And so, bro, I guess it's time to get into this. We need to get straight on in so we can spend some time. And I'll let you have the controls back there that you know what you're doing next.
Okay.
Welcome to Air2Ground Farm's YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Shelley. After 25 years of the Air Force life, traveling the world, Rich was a fighter pilot. And a staff officer in the Pentagon for 5 years, just before we did what we're doing right now.
We moved to the Ozarks of Missouri and bought some acreage and built a farm.
All I can say is, wow.
I know, right? So with that, I think we need to bring Rich and Shelley on.
Absolutely. Let's bring them on in. Yeah, let's get y'all on the right. Get y'all on the right. There we go. He got it. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Love that intro. That is just.
It's a little surprising. We weren't expecting.
that.
Yeah. Well, it was so good. We just had to, take it. But anyway, so man. We'll get into y'all's stuff here a little bit later. We're just kind of going to jump right in. Y'all do a lot, like I said, of the regenerative ranching, regenerative farming methods, and even layering with multiple crops. Tell us a little bit about the farm side of Air2Ground.
So we have 160 acres, and we're in Ozark County, down in very southern part of Missouri. We have beef cows and dairy. Our beef cows, we've got about 35. We have a couple of cows in milk right now. We have about 65 ewes and some feeder boys, wethers, that we're feeding out. We breed pure registered Berkshire hogs. We have a a boar, and 5 sows. We have about 15 feeders left from our last farrowing that we're feeding out. We have chickens. We raised about 1,500 meat birds this year, and we have about 230 layers right now. And we're just starting into rabbits. We have a buck and 4 does.
Okay. All right. So pretty diverse livestock market there.
Sure.
And that is awesome. So I'll just ask. I mean, we've been talking about, and in the intro, I kind of talked about, Greg Judy's path and just this difference between regenerative farming versus, the what some say the normal farming, but the monocrop, the monoculture, the commercial agriculture side. What are the core differences, in your opinion? What are the core differences between regenerative farming and conventional commercial ag beyond just less chemicals?
Yeah, for us, I think it goes all the way to the heart. And the way we describe that is we believe that the conventional farming is always looking for something to kill. It's about what can we kill to make our job easier. And to us, regenerative farming is about what life can we bring? And we focus very heavily on the soil. And we learned that from Greg Judy. We drove up, we have a Greg Judy, the original Greg Judy bale unroller.
Right.
We drove up and spent some time with Greg, talking to him about what we were doing. And for us, I think that if you had to just boil it down all the way to a simple concept, for us, it is focus on life rather than focus on death.
Okay. I like that. That's good. And I guess that's really kind of the answer to the next question, which is how those philosophies kind of diverge, how they, with each other a little bit. Because, I mean, what y'all do is so 180 degrees opposite of what most people see as farming.
Well, monocrop is extractive,
Right.
and that it's constantly taking. Even whenever you cut your own hay off of your field, you are extracting the nutrients from your property, especially if you haul it off.
Right.
And to us, the concept of regenerative, to regenerate, it's additive. We're adding biology back to the land that we're currently stewarding.
Right. Okay.
So,
Go
bro,
ahead.
just real quick, I want to talk to the people over in chat just a minute. We do have a poll that we put up there, and it is about regenerative farming, trying to hang
He lost it. There
on.
we go.
Okay, no, and the question is, can industrial agriculture ever be truly sustainable? And if you guys don't mind, we'd sure like to get your input on that.
Can industrial, that's what you're saying, can industrial be sustainable?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think there are enough chemicals that you can add to it that I believe that the crops would continue to grow. I think what we're seeing is the lack of nutrients, like bioavailable nutrients to the humans that are consuming those crops. So I think the crops will grow, but I don't think that you get the nutrition that you get when you do it naturally.
I got you. Good stuff. I like that. One of the frequent, I guess, kind of critiques, if you will, of the regenerative model is scalability or economic viability. What are the biggest impediments, like capital, policy, that make it hard for farmers like yourselves to adopt those practices? And how do you see overcoming them?
Well, the first thing is we've discovered, and the likes of Will Harris down at White Oak Pastures, best in the business and doing some of this stuff. Been doing it for a very long time. He really beats the drum of it. It's not scalable, but it is replicable.
Right.
You don't need 10 farmers farming thousands of acres. We need 1,000 farmers with 10 acres.
Right.
And that is when you replicate, you also create sustainability, because when you replicate, you are adding more small farms, more diverse farms into our communities. So if we could get more small landholders to farming in this method, then we actually create more diversity and resilience and sustainability across the board. So we don't try to be an industrial model scale.
And I think that's where, the detractors often say, well, you can't feed the world this way. And as an individual farm or even a couple of farms, that's correct, you can't. But the idea is learn the methods and then, help teach them so that the whole thing can be replicated so that you don't have to rely on, like we have 4 meat producers that are producing over 85% of the meat in our country. Like that's ridiculous, right? If something happens to one, like let's just say beef, if something happens to Tyson, who's the leading chicken producer,
Right.
but if something happens to Tyson, that's 23% of our beef for this nation. Like the idea that we rely on 4 major companies for literally over 80% of the beef in this country is silly. So can you scale this? No, we don't look to turn our 160 acre farm into 16,000 acres. Like we're not looking to scale like that.
Right.
What we're doing, we've got, I don't know, 85, 90 acres that we graze, but you could replicate that down if you had 10 acres, a couple of cows, a couple of sheep, a hog or 2, like the chickens add so much to the pasture. So have your meat chickens. You don't have to do 1,500 like what we did. Do 50 to feed your family 1 chicken a week. And just that biology that you're adding to your pastures is huge, right? So like the idea that you can replicate this really is where it grows, not that we're going to scale it to some huge. I used to work environmental engineering stuff, and I would work with dairies that are like 1,200 cows on concrete, every day.
Right.
Like who wants to scale that? You don't like this. It's gross for one thing. I was doing waste treatment systems, and like there's a lot of waste when you put over 1,000 cows on concrete every day.
Absolutely.
So anyway, you were about to say something.
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. No, I appreciate that.
You did ask about some of the like capital is definitely an impediment to doing this thing, right? Like the land itself. And Greg talks about leasing land, and we understand how that absolutely adds to things. But even that, just having, the fencing, the polywire, the step-in posts that you have to replace every couple of years, like just the initial capital and recurring is definitely an impediment.
Well, not just, I mean, if you want to bootstrap it, we've bootstrapped this operation. All of the capital has been in-house. That said, we did go to the FSA, to the USDA, and say, hey, is there, can we get we've got really great credit. We do good business. Can we get a loan for, this is what we're doing? They're like, that's really niche. And basically didn't really, I think then we could have got something, but it was like, they didn't really want to talk to us. If we weren't doing something at a commodity level, they were not interested.
They would have loaned us money to buy, a few hundred acres.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They would have loaned us money to buy hundreds of head of cattle, right? Like if we were talking, we need $500,000-$600,000 to buy our replacement stockers.
Right.
Then we could have gotten that loan. But, we need $40,000-$50,000 to help with operating costs. They were like, yeah, no way. That's not what we
this
do.
is.
Yeah, that's not.
And so access to money that farmers typically have access to in this business is less available in
for sure.
In our experience. That doesn't mean it's not available and somebody might not be able to secure it, but in our experience, it was going to be a hurdle that we probably weren't going to clear.
Right.
So Rich and Shelley, what year was that you were trying to get that?
2024.
2024.
2024. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was still under another administration. And I remember at the beginning of his administration, he signed an executive order that was to deal with smaller farmers and to try to help them. And I know that we could dig pretty deep off into this, and maybe we really should, but it wasn't really intended for you guys. Let me just
No.
put it that way.
No.
Well, even the new programs aren't really intended for us. We could place some of our land into a conservation,
Right.
and we then could get some government money, but it's like just for, hey, we're running 50 sheep and we need some help in buying hay for the winter. We're running 50, 60 sheep and 35 head of cows. We need help for hay. That it's just not there.
Right.
You don't get that kind of help. You go to the bank, and if you want to offer your land up as collateral, they'll definitely give you some money.
Right.
But we're not willing to go into business with the bank like that. Like
Right.
we own our land, not the bank, and we're not interested in offering it to the bank. So it's just
Right.
it's the capital is definitely an issue for sure.
Right. Well, and I think that's one that, like I said, struggles. I've got a friend that I I always joke and tell him he does it because he's always done it, but he does it because it's a tax write-off. But he raises a handful of steers every year. And he takes them to market. That's just
Yeah.
him and he's done it. He did, but he took a year off. He didn't replace, and he got murdered at the end of the year. And he said, I don't have time to do it with the job, but I got to do it because I can't afford not to. Yeah. And
Right.
so he's kind of in that, and that's why he always jokes about, I need to get off work. My wife's going to kill me because she has to feed those cows more than he does. But yeah, it is, the system is, I guess you might say rigged. In the
Well,
sense.
it's designed to benefit the big guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's designed that way. From when in the 70s, the USDA did the, get big or get out tour.
Right.
The
Yeah.
system since then has been designed for big farms.
Right. Well, I was going to say, and I think I see that we've seen that across a lot of different areas in dairy, in beef. I worked in the beef side for a while, hauling cattle, transporting cattle, going to the feedlots, doing all that. I work in commercial poultry now, so I mean, I see it on the scales of how much these guys are, how much money they're out. I mean, an upgrade is $250,000.
Yep.
And which I've learned is designed to keep them in debt.
Right.
So that they do what they're told to do, not what they want to do. But anyway,
So, bro, I just wanted to,
share monies.
well, not yet.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
But,
Go ahead. We
no, I just wanted to go back to, you were saying the big four, and bring out the point which you guys probably already know, and I don't know if the tablers know this or not, but some of those are not owned by Americans. They're actually owned by, I think there's one that's owned in Brazil.
Yeah.
Is
The
that
GPS
Yeah.
is the largest. They're wholly owned in Brazil, and then National Beef,
National.
which sounds like it would be very patriotic.
Mhm.
That is the American arm of a Brazilian company. So
Right.
GPS and National are both.
And that's all beef.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
beef.
Yeah, that's just beef. Now Tyson and Cargill do turkeys and chicken and other things like that.
But they're also in the beef industry.
But they are, yeah, they do. They have a large portion.
Smithfield is wholly owned by China.
Transported a lot of beef to both of those facilities. all four of them, actually. I've transported stuff for all four facilities, but so know what they do, and I can't say the name of the company that I work for, but they are not American owned either. So,
In our personal opinion,
the
fact that 50% of our beef is processed by foreign international companies is a national security threat.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And that was really the point that I was thinking about when you said that, because watching what's going on, I mean, the news is exploding every day with new headlines about how different countries are treating us. And they've used us in the past, and it seems like that they're playing chess while we're playing checkers in America.
Right. but yeah, I would agree with that assessment that, it is a national security threat. And, it's, we need, I mean, it doesn't end everything, but we need more, I think, attention to that. And I know, like down here in Arkansas, we passed a law that no foreign countries can own property, and so they actually had forced some companies to divest the ownership, and I think we need more of that we get control back of these things, and put it back in the hands of the beef producers that used to run this country. We've done a lot of shows on beef.
So we
Just have a million regenerative farmers.
Right. Yeah.
So in the early 1900s, we had 6 million farms in this nation.
Right.
Now we've got like 1.7. Right.
Right.
So like there's a huge reduction in the number of farms. So when the USDA did their Get Bigger, Get Out tour, like it worked, right?
Right.
4.3-ish million farms don't exist that used to in the early 1900s.
Right. And I know we were talking with, John Moody, and he was telling us a similar rate, these same ratios in the dairy side, that like where in the state where he's at, there was several thousands of dairies back in the 90s, and now they're down to a few hundred.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it's across the board trying to what we call centralize.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to ask one last question, and that'll be the end of this portion of it. When someone claims their farm is regenerative, how should we, as consumers in particular, but how should we evaluate that claim? What metrics or signs matter on that?
Well, first I would say if it's a huge company, they're lying.
Okay.
Because companies like Bayer, seriously, Bayer is totally taking the regenerative label and making it to where it really isn't worth a whole lot.
Right.
So Bayer has a huge regenerative push right now, while they're still pushing Monsanto's.
Well, yeah, for your listeners, if they don't know, Monsanto is now was bought by Bayer,
Right.
a company.
Right.
And so while they're using all the glyphosate on the land, they're claiming that they're doing it regeneratively.
Yeah, we're using cover crops before we spray it with Roundup. So now, so I'll throw that out just as a
caveat.
As a caveat. From your small local farmer, talk to them. Ask them if you can go to their farm. I'd say that's probably a huge difference between your industrial farms and your regenerative farms. Everybody we've talked to from a regenerative perspective will open with welcome arms a visitor onto the farm, because they're very happy with what they're doing. They're creating life and are in our experience always willing to share that with the people that are wanting to know. And
conversely, if you try to get into a Tyson chicken house,
probably ain't gonna happen.
Right? So, go visit your local farmer or talk to them about their practices. And if their focus is on what they're killing, then I would say probably not regenerative.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's good. That's good stuff for people to take, and for us even to take when we interact with people as well. Okay. Well, we see that as the answer. I mean, what y'all do, whether that's a smaller 4-acre, 5-acre version, or a 500-acre version, whatever, and that really y'all are leading this fight. The title we talked about, winning the war, because we believe that it really is a war on our food. It really is a war on our actual farmers. And so to have people that are showing the way, what I call the traditional way, the real way of how to raise a farm and how to do things. We've got to have y'all guys out there doing it. And the fact that you got a voice too is even better.
We're not doing anything new.
Right.
We just went back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Right.
The way our great grandparents did it.
Right. And, and I agree with that. We just did an event, the Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, and the motto this year was a quote from a friend of ours, Dwayne Hall, who said, "We're bringing the past to the present for the future."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's what we said when we heard it the first time. That's good. So we appreciate that. Folks, listen, if you're thinking about doing this, if you're not already, look into the regenerative model, adapt it down to fit your size of land. I know that's what I have to do. I've got about 4 acres, so I have to adapt things down to a smaller scale to make them fit. But anyway, so we appreciate that. So, bro, let's hand this off. We 25 minutes. We did pretty good. Let's roll this off into roll call time.
Yeah, it's roll call. So let's go back up and catch a few of the comments that
Right.
were over in chat and see if we can't give them an opportunity to get a word in edgewise. Let's see here. First of all, we already welcomed in Lone Cross Scotty, which is Scotty, AK check your pockets. Or
and a couple other handles that he likes to go by.
Other handles, right. And good morning, Cody. And
let's see. Good morning, Terry. And TNT Homesteading. Let's see. Good morning, Rebecca Touched by Yarn. Good to see you in this morning. Let's see. Who else we got? And thank you, Terry, for sharing out the link to their channel. Appreciate you doing that. And there that is. And good morning, Tracy. Glad to see y'all guys in. Let's see. And of course, Elder Squatch is in. So Elder Squatch has made it in. Our very own Sasquatch. Our very own Squatch. Let me see. Say, Monty with Suburban Sodbuster jumped in this morning. Good to see you, Monty, if you're still on. Yeah. And good morning, Kane Riggs. Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. We got, I think that's the ones that have chimed in chat. So I guess we ought to go back to some of the comments. Let's see. Where was that one I seen? This was Monty's from Suburban Sodbuster. It's a wonder to see how the old ways of doing things in agriculture, as well as I see in beekeeping, are now seen as controversial, niche, and unworkable.
Right. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But let's see. See. Of course, Terry, I know where he lives. So yeah, he's an area with huge wheat, corn, and soybean fields, and that's
Right.
the that's the predominant down here. Where he lives about a about an hour east of, depending on which way you drive, about an hour west of us, and yeah, it's a lot of that cropping going on. Let's see now. Tracy and Tim, they're up in Ohio. Says their locals are struggling because of high cost of feed, machinery, etc. Dalton Farms just had a post about why farmers are leaving their fields. So
really,
yeah. So I don't know how much y'all see of that up there around y'all as well, or just people
Not us personally. No, we're tracking it. Even you mentioned soybeans. Soybean farmers are in a world of hurt right now. So even the commodity farmers are hurting this year.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that, and of course, I mean, there's, they're talking about throwing money, but, I don't know.
Didn't we hear that a lot of that is just kind of, it's overproduced? Is that what's going on? Just digging a little bit deeper into that, why are they hurting?
Right now, we were looking specifically at the guys. It's Michigan, right? The guys that were in Michigan, 95% of their soybeans that they produce go to China, who has bought $0 of soybeans
it was
this
Michigan,
year.
But it was a northern state.
It was northern state. It was North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Sorry, it was North Dakota.
Yeah.
95% of the soybeans produced in North Dakota go to China. China normally buys about $12 billion of soybeans, and so far this year they've bought $0. So it's just been really, really tough, the soybean market, the export market, because China shut it down. And that was, you mentioned some of the countries that we've been helping. Yeah. That's been the president's beef with Argentina, is that, we're helping them, bailing them out with their financial stuff, but yet they're selling China soybeans at a reduced rate, while our soybean farmers are getting nothing out of a crop that they would normally be getting, over $10 billion for.
Right.
So are they counting on farm subsidies to survive?
They're hoping.
They're hoping. So they're proponents of the farm bill. What's going on in there with subsidies, farm subsidies, and things like that. And so I know that opinions vary. And I'll say something a little controversial to some people, but Greg Judy's take on was get rid of them, get rid of the farm subsidies, and he quoted New Zealand's model, which they overnight got rid of that, and now you have a lot of these farms that are exploding inside of that because people. I have a belief that people will find a way. They get creative when they get hungry, and I don't want anybody to go hungry. Don't think I'm trying to be cruel, but sometimes unless that pressure is put on people, then they don't make the changes that maybe that we need. Okay, so what we're talking about here is saving the monocrop.
Yes.
People, all right, and the question comes up: should we do that? And I don't want to see anybody suffer, but let's be real. I've heard stories, and so have you, most likely, to where and I know it's true here in our local area because we know some people personally. Bro, you were saying that the other day, or no, actually, I think you were saying that in the interview with Greg Judy,
Maybe.
That that people were intentionally letting failures happen to get the insurance, right? And so,
Yeah, it was basically they made more money if they lost their crops than if they went to market. And
Wow.
Yeah,
we don't disagree.
And but anyway, I'm going to move on. Elder Squatch, when we were talking about Monsanto's, not just Monsanto, but 24D and many other synthetics, possible cause of major health problems. And which brings up our brother Scott, who's not with us today. He worked in a lot of the industry where they sprayed things like that, and so he was around that industry for a long time, and so he understands a little bit more. Terry with TNT Homesteads, I think the bigger they get, the harder it is to keep up with, so it needs more and more machinery and shortcuts. Just his 2 cents on that. So
yeah, that's like if you want to take the side of the monocrop farmers, like the soybean farmer, their combine is over $1 million. So the capital investment into that monocrop is huge. And if you then can't sell that one crop, that $1 million machine is worth less.
right,
Literally. And we were in doing some research. There was a farmer who decided, okay, soybeans aren't cutting it. I'm going to grow whatever else it was, monocrop. But then his huge combine machine, like the front of it didn't work for that crop. So it's another $250,000 investment to change his crop, and so like when you're looking at, we talk about capital intensive, but nothing like that, right?
yeah,
These huge farms that are doing the monocropping, those things are, like they're seriously capital intensive. Like what you're talking about with your, industrial chicken houses,
right.
huge capital involved in doing these things.
Oh yeah.
Once you've taken out the loan to do that thing, now, man, you're stuck. You're really stuck.
And it's not just the machinery.
No.
It's the seed, it's the fertilizer, it's all of the chemicals.
And you can't keep your seed for the next year. You have to buy their seed. It's a trap. It is a huge trap.
Right.
For these guys.
I feel bad for them.
I do too.
Really
it's hard.
do.
Once you commit and once you go there, and it's real hard to change or get out.
So maybe that's where we need to, as far as government programs, we think that instead of continuing to subsidize what we're doing, let's help them. If we have to financially, let's do that. Let's help them get out of the trap. If we can get out of the trap, if we're like cutting cold turkey, if we're going to help them do something, we're going to help them do something, let's help them transition and get out of it.
Right. Yeah, I should say on the New Zealand model, I know, they made the decision overnight, but they gave them a certain amount of time, to make the changes they had to make. They had a window. But I agree, like I said, I know, I've known those big time farmers, they're millions of dollars into equipment alone. Never mind the ground and the land and all that other, just the equipment to run it.
That makes sense. pressure go up.
Yeah.
Right? Just don't
Yes.
even,
Yes.
yeah, right. And so, I mean, we grew up, our grandparents and then some of our uncles, worked, I don't know, several 100-acre place for somebody else. They owned it, they lived there, but they didn't have any kids and that type of stuff. And so they worked they worked it for them. And it was cattle predominantly, but we had about every kind of wildlife you could find on that place that got brought in, traded, grown, whatever. But, and I used to always scratch my head, and I still to this day couldn't answer because I never could get an answer. Older folks ain't telling a little kid those answers, but how do you make money at this? That was how do you make money? Because I didn't see it. I couldn't see where the money was made.
Well, not a lot of money in farming. The statistics are not great.
Right.
Because 90-something% of farmers have off-farm jobs.
Right.
Yeah, interesting, right?
Right. I should say I know how many of them I've lost track of around here. It seemed like it must have been like a set-up deal. It's like farmer, wife's a teacher, yeah, or the farmer's a teacher and the wife's home or whatever. But I mean,
percent have showed a loss.
Right. Oh yeah.
So like relying on a farm as your income
tough.
Is really, really tough. Like we have military retirement. So even though we're not, off farm, like time wise, the income, we're
That's
right
what pays
there.
our bills.
Yeah. We're right
It
there
isn't
in
farming.
that same, in that statistic as having an off farm job.
Right. And I think that's an important thing for people to be aware of. I mean, I'm going to get one last comment from Terry. He just made a comment. He said, "I'd love to take over an old family farm," and said leave it, but I think he means love it, but or leave it the way it is. I don't know. But anyway, he thinks it may be too old.
Or leave IT.
Leave IT.
Oh, leave IT. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
We actually did a podcast. The title of the podcast was Joel Salatin Says We're Too Old. And we talked about it quite a while because we were right at 50 when we decided to do this. And Joel says anything over 35, that's too old. Don't start. You got to partner with somebody that's young if you want to do that. And we're like, no way, man, we're going to do it. And we're going to do it by ourselves. And like we grew fast. Like we did from the first animal to all of the animals we just described happened within about 3 months. Like we're doing this. We built this really fast on purpose, because we felt like we started late and we're behind. And although we look up to Joel as a guru in this whole, arena, we've disagreed with him and said, on this case, Joel, we think you're wrong. We're going to start it older and we're going to make it happen. So I would encourage if somebody's interested at all, do it. Like, don't take your time at it. Like, do it.
Right. But do it on your scale. Right?
Yeah, sure. Do it on your scale.
Right.
And we don't know that we have the scale right.
Right.
Oh, no.
Well, on our farm, right? Like that's a constant conversation between us. Sheep are a hard business for us. They in this area of the world, they like to die, and people don't eat sheep as much as they eat beef or cows. And it's like, so like, do we have the scale right? I don't know. We did 550 chickens last year. We did 1,500 meat chickens this year. Like, is that scale right? I don't know. So like, I think the scale discussion is a huge ongoing discussion
But in farming, you can read all the books that you want, but experience is the best teacher.
Right.
And failure will happen.
Right.
But the best thing that we can do is just get out there and put your boots on and try.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I have an additional question. I know we need to move on into the spotlight section, but do you guys think that debt is the way to get into farming, or should a person try to do it as they can when they can?
Avoid debt if you can at all.
Right. So
understand it's a tool. Like
it's a tool.
I get it. We are new to business ownership, right? Like we're a 25-year military family. So, and I am learning now how businesses can utilize debt to their advantage. So I would say from a business perspective, I don't know I would say find a business guru to talk to from a homesteading, self-sustainability, self-reliability perspective. Debt is a trap, and once you get into it, it's really hard to get out, right? So like we have this constant push-pull personally between we want to be able to sustain ourselves and want to have a haven in the case of bad things happening. And we're trying to run a successful business. And those two things are often at odds. So
the thing about farming, and even we take a chicken or a cow or whatever all the way to a cut and into a person's freezer. We are direct to consumer, farm to table, all the way from our farm to our meat store, which is in Avon, Missouri, Air2Ground Meats, all the way to there and then into your freezer. So we try to squeeze every dollar that we can out of it, but we're in a rural part of America, and a premium product is kind of a hard sell. So that's another thing, is the market for this.
Right.
We found a pretty good little market. We're doing pretty good. But the margin for us is so narrow that any debt that we incur, it just sucks it up. And so, but because the margins are so narrow, that's kind of the limiter, because some businesses, the margins are much greater. If we were doing IT, or if we were doing some sort of service industry, or software as a service and all that, if we were in those markets, yeah, the debt would be okay. But because we're so limited on the margin that we can get, that it makes it crushing.
And Joel was just, their most recent podcast that Joel and Cena did, he was talking about 8% right now of the food dollar makes it to the farmer.
Right.
So if the farmer worked totally for free, it won't even affect your grocery bill by 10%.
Right. Yeah. And, and that's up when before the 70s go bigger, goes when you go home, even in the cattle industry, the percentage of the dollar that the cattle beef producer at that time was 60 something of the dollar, 6 cents on the went to the beef producer. Now, the last time I looked, it was down to like 17.
Yeah.
Yep.
But their expenses have went exactly the opposite, have went up. It's not cheaper to raise a cow, or raise beef to go to market. Even the production farms where they're raising 1,500, 2,000, 25,000 head, whatever they're doing, their price hasn't went down. It's went up, but their profit margin has changed. And
Right. And so, kind of going back to that, just to summarize it and try to move on here.
Yeah.
Is that when you're doing something like that, if you don't have a significant return on your investment, and you can actually measure and weigh that for your risk versus reward in farming or any type of undertaking that you might do. I grew up on a model that you only take on debt if the ROI is sufficient to cover it, and you've got historical proof that it does so. And so
that for farming.
Yeah.
Right. And so then there's the biblical aspect of this, and I'll kind of leave it with this, and that is that the borrower is slave to the lender. So that keeps you hooked up and working for the people who are in charge of the money. Right. So I just kind of want to leave that with our audience. And and with that, bro,
let's move over. Let's transition. We got to move. All right. All right. We're going to go straight into it.
The Duster Mud podcast is Duster Mud because we live in Southwest Missouri, and when it rains, you have mud. And when it doesn't rain, you have dust. Those are our two options. So we thought, what better name dust or mud. And on that podcast, we really dive into things like food and freedom and farming subjects. We talk about all manner of subjects within those three areas.
Food is extremely important to us, high quality food. We live a ketogenic lifestyle, and proteins are really, really important. The proteins and fats are terribly important to us. So we focus a lot on food, and so we talk about a lot of issues dealing with food.
And freedom, after 25 years of working for the United States Air Force, freedom is a big deal to us, whether it's freedom to, well, whatever your freedom is, that's what we want.
Right? To us, we believe that land ownership and self-sufficiency are the foundation to freedom. So we talk about those types of things fairly often.
And farming is a key to that, because if we can grow good food for ourselves, for our friends and family and local community, that creates more freedom for everyone and food security.
And we talk about the farming style that we do, where we use regenerative practices. We talk about things like our GMO-free feed, our grass-only beef. So we do delve into actual styles of farming as
All right. Love that intro.
I weren't expecting that either, probably.
No.
No, hey, listen, no, we like to highlight, and y'all guys, like I said, sometimes we have guests that we don't have that option to do that with, and
Right.
but y'all guys did such a good job of telling about yourself that why let our words get in the way?
And so in this particular section, which is our favorite part of the section, in as much as we get to know you guys better, and the people in chat and the people that will watch this later on, our replay crew that comes in, it allows them to get you guys to know you guys better. And we generally start this off with a shot across the bow, if you will, to see how you handle pressure, Rich.
Yeah.
Should be pretty good here, I think.
Yeah. So here's your question. All right.
Did you find it? Did you lose it?
Yes, I did. What cockpit habit or Pentagon lesson shows up every single day on the farm?
Cockpit.
Probably what I would call flying induced Tourette's.
You say Tourette's?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we have truckers Tourette's too.
Yeah. So as a fighter pilot, perfection is what you strive for, and you debrief to whether or not you reach that perfection. And it's a very hard habit to get out of. And when you're dealing with 1,000 or so animals at one time, perfection is impossible. And I'd say that the striving for perfection and then debriefing towards perfection is something that isn't necessarily always great for family life or married life, but it's a hard habit to break.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I can only imagine that. And, like I say, in this section, we're trying to get to know you guys better. So this next section is called One Important Thing. And so if you could kind of break down this particular statement for us, which is freedom starts with, or fill in the blank to this, land ownership, self-sufficiency, or community food security.
Self-sufficiency for me.
Okay.
Yeah. We're fiercely independent people. We're Gen Xers, we were raised on the water hose water,
Right.
and go outside and don't come back. So we had to learn when we were growing up how to be independent, how to be self-sufficient. The cereal was on the bottom shelf, right? So we could all reach it.
Right.
And we are so independent, and we believe that self-sufficiency, if we can take care of ourselves, we're not a slave to somebody else. We're not dependent on somebody else coming to save us, because they're probably not going to.
Right.
And so the self-sufficiency aspect to the concept of freedom to us is paramount.
Yeah. So TNT over here was talking about Go Gen X.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll ask this. It's not, it's a sub question because of spent a career in the military myself. The transition from what y'all did for 25 years,
Going Mach 2.
that transition to this new phase, this different. I mean, I know what it was for me. So, I mean, how was that transition from the military regimented lifestyle? Everything has a certain way about it. Everything is done a certain way. There's a rule and a regulation and a counter rule and regulation for everything.
Yeah.
To now, you're on your farm. It's you and your wife, and y'all are making this life. But there's no rule book.
Yeah.
There's no that military support system is gone.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I'll use a homeschooling example. There's a concept called unschooling, and they talk about how to get a child from public school to unschooling, and they need a month for every year that they were in school, public school. They need a month of unschooling before you even talk to them about school at all. And I feel like that was a pretty good rule of thumb for me as well. For every year I spent in the military, I think I needed a month of no one tell me what to do. And like I warned my family, like we talked, like everybody, like, don't tell me what to do. I didn't cut my hair. I didn't shave. It was I needed time to just be in my own mind, do what I wanted to do. Literally don't tell me what to do, So I think that was an important transition period for me, and transitioning out of the military and into self-employment, business ownership, farming allowed me to have that me time to where I could make that transition, where I had every opportunity to transition out into huge defense corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have had that opportunity, right? I would have just gone to somebody else telling me what to do. And I think that for me personally, that time that I could just totally decompress, I think was really important.
So can you fast forward us now to today, compare and contrast, like when you first began until now? Have you settled into this kind of lifestyle? Has it been long enough of getting used to that?
Yeah, at first it was a bit of a honeymoon because, oh wow, look what we did today, which is whatever we wanted. And it took time, and it was all very new, and it was just the smells were, more vibrant, and everything was it was an adventure. And we have settled in, and we're probably to what someone would call maintenance mode.
Right.
We've got all of the animals on the farm that we want to have for now. We've gotten into a rhythm. We have a sales outlet. The challenges have changed. We're not challenged by how do you build the fence. Now we're challenged by how do you market the product. Mm-hmm. And so we've continuously had challenges before us, and we continue to learn. Like every single day we learn. How do you make a YouTube channel? How do you upload things? All the different fun things that we do. Yeah. So we've gotten into maintenance mode at this point. We have people here helping us. We're not doing it alone anymore. Our oldest daughter lives here on the farm with her partner. They both farm. Our 13-year-old farms. His parents come and help us, a couple times a month, mm-hmm. if there's a project or something that we've got going. So I don't want it to seem like that we're doing all of it by ourselves anymore. We've gotten to a scale that it's very nice to have other people helping, because there's so many avenues to a farm to table outfit,
Right.
One of the things that I thought was going to be challenging was we lived in 21 houses in 25 years.
Yeah.
And we PCS'd to multiple countries. I think we actually did a permanent change of station over 15 times. So I'm very used to pack it up and let's go.
Yep.
Right. And I kind of got a little nervous, not nervous, but I was wondering when I hit that point, that 3-year point,
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be ready to go?
Yeah.
Is it going to be time to move? In my mind, am I going to get the itch? Like, what's the next thing? And we had said, like, I'm going to die here. I don't ever want to move again when we moved here. But what's reality going to feel like when we got there? And it got here, and it just kind of breezed on by. And I'm like, wow, I don't have the inkling to leave.
We've lived here longer than we've lived
Anywhere. Our
Well,
entire marriage of 33 years, and it's been 4 years.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Go ahead, bro.
well, I was going to say I went through that, because same thing. Every year to 3 years,
Yeah.
I was moving, and I looked forward to it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that process because either they were leaving or I was leaving. Somebody was leaving, and especially y'all know as well as I do, you sometimes end up with coworkers or superiors that you don't want to be around anymore. Or for me, 3 years was enough of anybody.
Yeah,
So it was like,
you could make friends and be like, well, if it doesn't work out, we know we're going to move. So
right.
we moved to this area. Honestly, we were very slow and very cautious in the relationships that we built because we knew we weren't going to be able to leave. So we've been very judicious in the church that we chose, or just our friends and relationships, because this is going to have to last. So we want to make sure that they're good ones.
But I will tell you, at about the 3 year mark, I had that itch. I was ready. That was probably when I had met my wife, and we were living in the house that she had, which we still have that house, but we were living there. Now, she had been living there for a long time. She had not moved like I had. And I was already ready to go. I was ready to go. And it took, it was 10 years before we bought the property we have. Well, we've only been on the property for 2 years. So, we've had it since 2019. So that's a lot of years, and that's still in that one place where I'm itching, and I had to learn how to stay at a job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, okay, I'm moving. I might stay work for the same company, but I'm moving, and I had to learn how to do that. It was a big transition.
I can tell you, talking to Ryan almost on a daily basis, especially throughout the week and doing the show and talking about where we're going. That conversation comes up a lot about where he wants to go next. He wants to get out of the seat, driving a truck. But anyway, you were talking about you now moved into maintenance mode. Can you kind of take us through what a day looks like for you guys?
Well, we wake up early, have our coffee. It varies on what time we go outside, just based on the sun, because the animals aren't really going to starve to death. People think that you got to be out there, before dark, but look, we are partially retired, and we say you'll get fed when we get out there. And so we, Rebecca and Huck, they do the milking now, and Rich and I will go out. We start loading up feed. All of our feed is carried around in 5-gallon buckets. You cannot have enough 5-gallon buckets on a farm.
I've heard that.
Nope. We load up all of the different animal groups of feed, and maybe Michaela, off she goes on a side-by-side and starts delivering food to everybody. Everybody's back in the house and done within, it's not chicken season. When we're moving chicken tractors, it takes a little longer. But we're back in the house well under 2 hours. Everybody out and back in under 2 hours. And then we go about whatever project we're going to do for the day. He and I typically have what we call second coffee, and we'll have some.
You like
that? Yep. Well, of course. Now I forgot about the very, very important part is our morning staff meeting. It's at 5.
I can't
coffee.
help it.
He cannot help it. He cannot help it.
Morning staff meeting at 5.
And I get the weather brief every single day.
You
have to get the weather brief. You can't plan your day without the weather brief. So I get that. And then second coffee and breakfast, we discuss whatever projects that we want to do for the day. We have a large scheduling board. We have a big white board with lots and lots of grid on it. And everyone has their little puck or their little nameplate, and we move the nameplates around.
Mirrored after our flight schedule.
Yeah. So say some habits you don't give up.
Yeah. And so that when everyone is around, that keeps everyone on track. If there's got to be a feed run or a meat pickup or who's going to be at the store or the farmer's market, and just keeping everyone sort of on track and everyone understanding what the plan is for the week or 2 weeks. So we do that. We stay organized in that way. We do have systems. We put systems in place to make things more efficient because we like to farm. We do, but we don't necessarily want to be out there farming all day.
Right.
If we're going to move the cows, let's move the cows and get it done at this point.
Yeah.
And so because we have other things we want to do, we have YouTube channels and whatnot. So then on Mondays, we typically do all of our YouTube stuff. And then we just, different projects of whatever is kind of hanging out there that we need to do for the week is done in the middle of the day.
Afternoon chores we do, or afternoon rounds we do so that it's complete before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And normally afternoons are a little bit less time consuming, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. Same thing. We hand feed our pigs twice a day.
Yeah.
The pigs get food delivered to them. You have to milk twice a day. I forgot to mention earlier, we have turkeys, and like we've got 50 turkeys and they eat a lot. And right now at the stage they're at, they drink a lot, and we're hand carrying water to them. So the afternoon chores are normally 30 to 45 minutes, and then it's off to eating dinner or whatever. That middle part of the day is really our just project time, and be it make a new pig paddock, move the piglets, make feed
run
runs,
errands in town.
run errands in town. That type of thing. The middle part of the day is that.
Right. But I just heard an entire military day schedule.
Yeah.
But too many years doing it to not recognize it.
It works, right?
It works. That's it.
It works.
But we need to move out of this and move on, bro, to our favorite section, which is show and tell.
Yep. Show and tell. This is where you guys get to surprise us with any show and tell you think, and then break it down why you chose that item.
Okay. Well, I'll go first because. Okay. All right. So I brought a cookbook.
Okay. Country
Heritage.
Heritage.
Land O'Lakes. It's old.
Okay.
It has really big, beautiful pictures in it.
Oh, nice.
And Rich bought this for me. We've been married a couple of years and still relatively newlyweds, but we had decided very early on that one of us was going to stay home and raise our kids, and the other one was going to go to work, whatever the cost was on that. He was further along in college education. So we chose him to go on with education, go get a job. I'll do the traditional thing and stay at home and raise kids. And in all of that, well, we knew how to cook some, but we weren't like chefs yet. We were young, you cook things and maybe they're good, maybe they're not. So we bought that. And I think that cookbook was transformative in our food journey because it had pretty pictures. It was really, really well written. And he and I both started learning how to cook. Mm-hmm. And cooking is the foundation to what we're doing on this farm. We're growing good food. And the thing about it is you got to be able to cook it. And it's a lost art. People aren't in their kitchens anymore.
Right.
And I would encourage anybody who's listening that doesn't typically cook or like to cook is, use ChatGPT if you want to. But if you can get your hands on a really pretty, well-written cookbook, it might be the thing to give you the catalyst to get in your kitchen and start making good food and get out of the Chick-fil-A line.
So bro, you know what that reminds me of? I bet
Zach Bauer.
We have what we call 7 steps to self-reliance, which is something that Ryan and I created, and we had a series on that. And when we talked to Zach Bauer, where anyone should start, he said, first of all, that every homestead should start in a kitchen, because if you don't know how to cook what you grow, what are you going to do with it? So I love that.
It was tied right in.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
So, Rich, what'd you bring?
Well, I mentioned that you surprised me with the intro, so the things that I brought will probably make sense. These are challenge coins.
Mm-hmm.
In the fighter world, we call them round metallic objects, or RMOs,
Okay.
even if they're not round. If you ever say the word coin, that means you are challenging. So you're very careful with your verbiage.
Right.
This one is from my first fighter squadron, the 492nd Fighter Squadron Mad Hatters. In the fighter squadron, it is a rite of passage when you get your RMO, and it is given to you when you become combat mission ready.
Okay.
So it's a very I don't know, sought after thing, especially the new guys. Every Friday in the bar when there's roll call, it's the conformity check, and you have to have on the right T-shirt and the right name tag, and you have to have your round metallic object. And before you're combat mission ready, you don't have one,
It's a rough day.
which means that you're punished by a shot of whatever happens to be right. And so it's a very meaningful thing. There are a lot of rites of passage in the fighter world, but getting your RMO is definitely one of them. So that one from my first fighter squadron and the squadron that I deployed to combat in, that one is meaningful to me. And then this one happens to be from my last job in the Air Force, where the round metallic object was mine. I made and bought for my organization, where I was the director of Air Force Special Programs, and just a very meaningful last job for me in the Air Force, and a meaningful time for me. So those are the two things that I brought for your one thing.
Well, no, that is awesome. For me, that's you're coming back home with that. I mean, like I said, we had our challenge coins for everything, and in fact, if I whenever I get everything out of storage, because we're still renovating the house, but I have a box that has a lot of them in there, and all of them are nice and pretty, and I've got some from deployments and all these different things. But in the Army, there's the air assault badge that you earn, and when you go through air assault school, you get the round metallic object for that, and that thing is beat smooth up because I carried it every day for
That's right.
one, because you had to have it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to Dwayne. You have a terrific day, and give Pat a hug, and y'all have fun working the goats. Anyway, that thing was beat up because it was constant. And instead of just like holding it up, somebody would drop it. They'd drop one on the ground.
Yep.
Well, you had to drop yours. And if you didn't have it, it wasn't alcohol involved. It was a whole lot of pushing ground.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that one's pretty beat up. It looks pretty rough from a lot of being dropped. I was stationed in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which is the home of air assault, and so that's like you couldn't go anywhere without having to drop. So yeah, so I get the coins, and that is totally cool. And I love the flag, the artwork behind y'all guys. That is
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to compliment you guys on your setup there.
right. That is.
But I had to ask one question to Rich.
Okay.
Do you ever miss the jet flying and that sort of thing? Do you have an outlet? I mean, do you still want to go fly? Do you have a private plane that you deal with, or you have friends that fly?
I miss it desperately. The outlet, I would say, is our second daughter, Hannah, is currently flying the F-15E in the same squadron I was in, the 492nd Fighter Squadron.
Cool.
Having that ability, like she calls and chats with Dad about whatever's going on and what upgrades she's in, and how do I dogfight a helicopter, and so I do get to have those. My brain stays engaged a lot because of the conversations with her. I miss flying. I miss the camaraderie, the brotherhood and sisterhood that you have in a combat unit is a very tight bond. So I miss that. I don't fly civilian. I have flown once since we got here in Missouri. I like it. I love it. It's just I don't have a whole lot of time for it, and it's not cheap. So
Mhm.
you know, I would love to fly more, but I don't. But I do very much miss it.
Right. Okay, first of all, very late stage of my life, I had a bucket list item that I wanted to do. I wanted to work for the airline industry, and so I did. But I was a little too long in the tooth to become a pilot, although I had pilots telling me that I should go for it. But I just no, I don't want to do that. So I became a flight attendant instead. So I know that after the C word came and went, that made things very difficult for me to continue into that. So I stopped. But I look back on it and I know that I miss taking off, landing, all of that stuff. I mean, it's just there's still a little bit of a thrill in me, and in my YouTube feed, I'll get things that they'll feed you what you like, and so
Yeah.
I'm watching pilots land. I'm doing all of that kind of stuff from the cockpit view
Yeah.
and all of that. And I was going to ask you, out of my own curiosity, was it hard for you to go from being in a jet to just a regular aircraft? Because you're
Oh,
flying
like as a passenger or as a pilot?
no, as a pilot. Yeah.
No, it was like the Air Force really does a great job of stepping you up. So, I got my private pilot's license first in a Cessna 152, and you go from there to the next thing to the next thing. So by the time you're in an F-15E going above the Mach and operating the radar and the targeting pod, and, you're doing all of this simultaneously.
Your brain has been
Your
wired.
brain has really been built up to do that. And then by the time I flew civilian again after that,
Mhm.
it's calm, right? Like I love to fly. I love being in the air. And so instead of being hectic or like hair on fire that you might get from a fighter, it was more just calming and being able to enjoy being in the air for me.
Okay, well that's good. It's just from a standpoint of somebody who is least in the industry, a flight. It was
Yeah.
just a big curiosity point for me. I'm thinking I would, going from hair on fire to low and slow, or maybe just slower. But yeah, that's really cool. So we need to move on because
We do. We are over.
we are over, and I kind of felt like we would be with you guys, um, but this next section is called rapid fire, and there's no wrong answer, but it's just a kind of a
Fun
fun
little.
thing that we do to. You got something else, bro, that we
Nope.
need to do before that? Okay. All right. Are you guys ready?
We're
Yeah.
ready.
All right. Dust or mud? Pick your poison.
Mud.
Mud.
All right.
Okay. What is your go-to cut from grass-only beef for a keto dinner?
Ooh.
Favorite cut?
Ribeye, but on our cows, man, the sirloins have been really nice.
And we eat pounds of ground beef. So like if you had to give us one, I think we would go ground.
Yeah.
If you're saying like, what is your, like a nice meal, I think it would be a sirloin actually.
Wow. Good deal.
All right. Sounds good. Making me hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. So on your farm, one tool you can't live without since year one. What's your favorite tool?
We actually just did this on live. Mine is my Leatherman Skeletool. It's a slim, fits in your pocket Leatherman. Man, I use it almost every day. Now it's not tractor or something like that is like amazing, and I get it. And we couldn't do our farm without it. But that Leatherman Skeletool I use daily.
Yeah, it's in your pocket. It's go-to all the time. Yeah, Shelley, do you have one?
And I have a real love for zip ties because I'm pretty sure you can hold a farm together with zip ties.
Right.
If it's if it's about to fall down, you can get a zip tie and hold it up and at least, fix the problem for at least a minute.
Yeah, I have a love for zip ties too. They wind up on just about everything. And then lastly, favorite topic you had to research deeply before an episode on social media.
Raw milk.
What was it?
Raw milk.
Again?
Raw milk.
Oh, raw milk. War clam.
War clam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So before we end this up, I want to go over here to a comment from Monty from Suburban Sodbuster. He says, once had an acquaintance who collected vintage aircraft. I never got my PPL, private pilot's license, but with him, had the opportunity to fly several cool aircraft, including a Stearman biplane. That's cool. One of those cool experiences I'll always value.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
As a side note, one of my favorite things as an F-15E pilot was getting to fly incentive rides. So much fun, helping someone else experience the whole ordeal.
thrill.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Well, how many did you make puke? That's really the no.
Probably 75% of people get sick.
Yeah,
It's really hard not to. I mean, it is your vestibular system is really jacked up. I mean, like your
Right.
body is undergoing something that it's never done before. It doesn't matter if you've ridden a roller coaster or not, and it's difficult not to get sick.
Yeah. But and that's the part. That's what I said. I always laugh. It's like, yep, you're gonna get sick. Yep.
Yeah, I need to know, do you get a coin for that? Like
No.
No coin for that. That is awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all hanging out with us and being willing to go along. Love all the information that you shared and getting to know y'all guys a little bit better. So listen, folks, our good friend Terry, one of our mods, has been awesome to share the links throughout the
Awesome.
chat over there for both Air2Ground Farms and the Duster Mud podcast. So both go out and check both of those out. If you want to get more of Rich and Shelley, they're an awesome couple, and it was good to meet them in person and a lot of fun to hang out here. Very like-minded individuals. I think we could probably spend hours kicking stories and talking about things. But anyway,
This has been really enjoyable.
Yeah,
for us.
thank you. This has been great.
absolutely. So listen, we do. I know y'all guys are busier than anybody, just like the rest of us. We do a thing on Sunday nights. Well, we don't, but there's a group. It's we call it Homestead Sunday, and it's a group of people that go live on Sunday nights. And some of those people are actually, no, they didn't make it in here. I didn't see them anyway. But anyway, we're going to be live this Sunday night as well at 8. But and it's just a hangout. I mean, that's really what it starts about 2:00 in the afternoon on Sunday, and it's different channels every hour until 9:00 at night. And
Wow,
so,
that's cool.
yeah, so it's all just hanging out. I mean, it's
But
but
what time do we go live?
8:00.
I know we've got like the midnight shift as well.
Yeah, we had one of the channels that we normally just hang out in the chat, but one of our friends that has the channel, they're got family in and doing things, so they just asked us to fill in for them for a couple of weeks, and so we said we'd do that. So, but anyway, but no, looking forward to seeing y'all guys, following y'all, keeping up, and certainly we'll be in touch to hang out again. And loved having y'all on. So, folks, go out, check out Duster Mud Podcast. That comes out on Wednesdays. And of course, go to Air2Ground Farms. We like the number 2 thing too. That's what we do. Farm the number 2 table. Air2Ground Farms, and we didn't really talk about it in there, but Rich's job with the F-15E was air-to-ground support. And and we loved seeing those guys show up as a guy who was on the ground. But anyway, appreciate that. Love the name and love what y'all are doing with the farm. And I did see that y'all are. Did I read right? Y'all ship or able to ship now?
We do nationwide.
Nationwide shipping. So go over there to that. Check out their menu of available products. Hey, support support a regionally local
Really.
farm.
Our
And
website for our products is air2groundmeats.com.
You can
Okay.
get to it from Air2Ground
Yeah,
Farms.
so either air2groundfarms.com,
Mhm.
it'll link you if you want to go shopping for meat products, or Air2Ground Meats, and that will take you directly to the meat store.
Right. So, and I would encourage you to catch their live, usually on Monday nights.
Nights
And
at 6. We have a farm video that comes out Saturday mornings, and the live on the farm channel on Monday evenings at 6.
okay, so that's the opportunity just to catch up with those guys. I will tell you, I've caught the live on Mondays. It's fun. A lot of good questions usually, or good comments on things. So encourage y'all to check that out. Guys, appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Y'all can hang out if you want while we wrap up. It's no big deal. Y'all don't have to leave, or if you do got to leave, it's okay too.
Thank you.
We got to get into town to go open the store.
Yeah.
Oh well, y'all go take care of that, guys. Thank you so much for your time,
you.
and we'll be seeing you soon.
All right.
Bye bye.
Oh, nope, not them, not that one. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Okay. All right. And where is he at? There we go. Okay. Me and you. All right. Anyway, we're back, folks. All right. Got me get this on the right spread. There we go. Bro, that was great, man. We went way long today. Thanks for all of y'all that have hung out with us. Yeah, and definitely go like and subscribe to them. They are awesome couple. They're doing it the right way, and they've got a cool story to boot. So anyway, well, bro, anything, or do we just need to move on into wrapping this up and getting out of here?
Yeah, considering the time, I think we need to go ahead and roll on out.
Yeah. So so we'll skip. Do we want to skip all the usual stuff or go through it?
Well, would it be fair not to go through getting the sports take for the day?
Well, of course. No, it wouldn't be fair because I know he's promoted it. So well, we can do the redneck weather report right fast, and because everybody wants to know what's going on with the weather. All right.
Good morning, Rednecks. It is 61 degrees this morning, October the 11th, 2025. Got a 5-mile-an-hour east-southeast wind, making it feel like it's 59 degrees. Dew point's 57, and we are going to get to 88 degrees today. God bless y'all. We'll see you again tomorrow.
All right. So there was the redneck weather report from Jack. You have to go horse get some chicken feed today, as well as re-roofing the cabin Monday. Wow, you got a re-roof, man. You got work. I'm gonna stay away from Terry for the next week now.
Yeah. Be careful, Terry.
Be careful. Yes. Anyway, so let me see. Let's go on over. Let's bring in Mr. P. As a matter of fact, he's hanging out back there in the basement. All right. Good morning there, Mr. P.
Morning, everybody.
How did you doing? Good. Did you enjoy the show from behind the scenes?
It was a very good show, very enlightening, and I was just having a good time back here just listening. So
cool. Well, hey, listen, it is college game day.
It is.
What's happening out there? What's the big hit today in the college world?
Well, I'm gonna highlight them here in a second. We'll go to the baseball first because it is playoff season right now. So I'm gonna highlight some baseball for the baseball heads out there real quick.
Okay, all right.
So last night, Mariners and Tigers went to extra innings. Mariners come out and won. It was like 14th inning, if I remember right.
Wow.
I was up a little late watching that one. So, but to highlight it right now, the Cubs Brewers play tonight. The winner will go on to the NLCS to play the Dodgers.
Okay.
And so, and then Mariners will play the Blue Jays in the ALCS. I'm rooting for the Mariners because they are the only team. This is a fact. I've looked this up multiple times. They are the only team to have not made the World Series. The only MLB team has not made the World Series ever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's impressive considering they had Ken Griffey Jr. for so many years.
Right. Him, Ichiro Suzuki,
yeah.
Just wanted to highlight that real quick before we get to the college stuff real quick.
Right.
As far as games, I gotta get a little slate here. We're gonna go over real quickly as I can. So obviously for the local folks, Oklahoma State plays Houston today. I'm Cowboys fans. I'm gonna pray for you now. Okay.
No kidding, right?
To highlight, I've got 3 upset watches games today.
Oh, 3 upset watches. Okay.
You got South Carolina going against LSU. South
Ooh.
Carolina's coming in unranked, but they have the offensive power that can sort of overpower that LSU defense.
Wow. Okay.
And which LSU offense is going to show up today? We don't know.
True
Second one, Florida A&M. Florida obviously coming off last week beating Texas. A&M is, don't get me wrong, A&M is good. Don't get me
They're
wrong.
real good.
But that Florida defense is very stifling to go against. So, and then last one, Ryan, this one's for you actually. Arkansas against Tennessee.
There we go. There we go.
It's Bobby Petrino's first game at the helm, and if he can actually get his guys on the right track, Tennessee is not going to have a good day.
Right.
So
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that game goes. I'm a realist. I just want us to be in the fight.
Right. And I think you'll be in the fight, but again, we'll just see how Petrino is at the helm.
Right. Well, yeah.
To highlight a couple more games before I get to the major one, I know what everybody wants to hear. Yeah. We have actually a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten today. Yeah. Oregon versus Indiana.
Right.
Indiana has improved drastically since last year. Obviously, we know how good Oregon is.
Right.
So that's going to be a dogfight.
I read something about that this week, and it was Indiana and Oregon. Their points per game and some part of their stats. It's the first time 2 ranked teams with those stats since 1904.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a dogfight. Let me tell you. This is also going to be a highlight too. Ohio State versus Illinois.
Yeah, that's Illinois.
I can't believe I'm saying the Illinois for football, but hey,
Brett Bielema figured out how to coach again.
He did. So Illinois' offense is obviously high power, but can they break through the stifling Ohio State defense?
We'll see.
Obviously, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. Mm-hmm. OU Texas Red River rivalry week.
Red River rivalry.
Say that real fast a few times.
Right. Yeah. I've stumbled a few times already. Obviously, the big question: will John Mateer play? As of this moment, he is probable. He is listed on the roster to play.
Okay.
Now, this is also 17 days removed from having surgery to fix a broken bone in his hand. I think it was this one right here, if I remember right.
Wow.
Yeah, is it this one or was this one right here? Either way, it's on his throwing hand too. So
even if he does show up, what kind of performance?
Yeah, I would say 80%. 100% be great. Don't be wrong, but I'm gonna be a realist. Like maybe 80% at best.
Right. Well, I will take note that he finished the game that he broke the hand in.
He did. He finished that game. He is a tough dude. He is a tough dude. But also, I'm gonna be a realist too. Texas is gonna come in a little agitated.
They're a little salty right now.
Yeah. So I think the OU defense is gonna have to carry the day again. So,
and what time does that kick off?
That is at 2:30 on ABC. So
yeah, they moved that up. It was 11. They moved it to 2:30, and I'm happy.
Yeah. They did not want to have to go against the Oregon-Illinois game.
Right. Well, bums it because my Arkansas game is at the same time. So in the afternoon. But anyway, awesome. That's a wrap up on that. I was disappointed to see the Tigers get bumped out of the baseball side.
Right.
But
it was a good game. Oh, I did forget to mention also if there's any. I was sort of going to do it while they was in here. Bama, Missouri also play today.
Right, that's true. Yeah, it is. Bama, Missouri is today, and it's tough for me because I don't want to root for either one of those teams.
Right, I know. But I also want to watch Missouri beat Bama, so it's like, hey,
Right. Yeah, bro.
So Lewis, the one that hit the wall, how's he doing? Have you heard anything about that?
I've got to do some research on that. I think last I knew he was doubtful. Last I had looked, but
he's okay.
He's okay, but he is very doubtful to be in the game today.
Right.
Also, an update on that, they have now decided they're going to put padding on that wall.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
But
But
anyway,
that's sports. We're out.
all right, good deal. Well, you can hang out with us, no big
I am.
problem. Wrap this up. I do want to take a minute before I move any further. For those who don't know, if we keep up with us in a regular, Scotty got the apartment, just waiting to hear when they can move in. So Scotty and Karen, soon to be off the couch and love seat, and we've been praying for that. And anyway, so we are doing that. Congratulations, Scotty. Yes, absolutely. Hope that goes well. And yeah, fear not. Good morning, Dakota, Shayla, whoever's with us. But injuries are usually worse down the road, and I agree with that. Terry,
Yep.
have a great day. We'll see you, buddy. Appreciate you hanging with us as long as you did. Anyway, yeah, so let's wrap this up. We did the Redneck Weather Report. We did the sports program. Now it is time for today's. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at?
Well, we're at home, so.
All right, today's Brain Buster. Why is it that when you're driving and looking for an address, you turn down the volume on the radio?
You gotta be able to see the sign, man.
Just curious. I mean, I do it, so I'm just curious.
Oh, I know.
Why do we turn down the volume on the radio?
You got
when
to
we're-
focus at that
Man,
point.
I'll focus.
I guess it's just one of those ones that when I read that, I'm like, that's something I do. So I need an answer. Why do I
Yes.
do that?
You gotta focus now.
Oh man. Oh, I kind of do wish they could have hung out for this. This is almost the fun portion, but anyway, it was all fun. I enjoyed hanging with them. They are
Yeah,
fun,
it's good time.
and awesome stuff, and they're funny. But anyway, quote of the day. Moving right along. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Albert Einstein. So,
Oh boy.
yeah.
That's live, practically.
Right. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The
Yeah.
important thing is not to stop questioning. So there we go. That is our quote for the day. And pretty interesting one, I thought. It was apropos for the conversations we've been having this week and some of the things going on in our in our shorts and our videos and stuff. But anyway, let's move to upcoming events. As mentioned, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, Homestead Sunday. We will be on at 8 p.m. live in the place of Red Dirt Rooster Road and the home, uh, uh, Homestead Sunday slot for Red Dirt Rooster Road. They've got some family stuff going on. But anyway, like that, Scotty. That's good stuff. Address focuser. So we will be on 8 p.m. Sunday night in that slot. Of course, Jack with Dyer Family Farm before that. Robbie with the Wild Huckleberry before that. Money Pit Homestead before them. Hippie Callier Homestead. Simple Rebecca Touched by Yarn and Simple Acres. There are all the ones that do their lives on Sunday. So full day of that. So, but we're on at 8 p.m. Next weekend, Louisiana Homesteader Conference, Friday and Saturday, October 17th and 18th in Bossier City, Louisiana. And then I don't have anything else. Good morning, Amy. Glad to know you're here. Yeah, you'll rewatch what you definitely want to rewatch. I think you'll like Rich and Shelley. They're an awesome couple. But glad to have you come in for a minute. Okie Homestead Expo, March 20th and 21st, 2026, Mays County Fairground, Pryor, Oklahoma. And things are happening. Got Dr. Temple Grandin coming in to this year, as well as others, but looking forward to that. Of course, the 10 Killer YouTube meetup, Lake 10 Killer, Oklahoma, April 17th to the 19th, 2026. And so looking, that's going to be a great hangout. It was last year, a lot of fun. But the same weekend, but anyway, no. Actually looking forward to this event. Central Arkansas Homestead Conference, April 17th and 18th. Conway Expo Center, Conway, Arkansas. CentralARHomesteading.com is their address. But if you'll just Google machine or look up Central Arkansas Homestead Conference, you'll find them. It is a first-year event. They are still in the process of building out the site, putting things together. They've reached out to a lot of people to have come in, a lot of them from this area, local area. But, our good friend Joel Salatin is the keynote speaker there. Spoke to the organizers on the phone. That is a lock. And so that's going to be happening. That's going to be a great event right in our backyard. May 15th to the 17th, Mid-America YouTube Meetup at Lake Texoma, Oklahoma. Mike and Terry from MT Homestead kind of head that one up. So anyway, looks like that's been a good one in the past. For those out northwest, Modern Homesteading Conference in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, June 26th and 27th. Out there, big event. Ozarks Homesteading Expo, September 4th and 5th, Marshfield, Missouri. So that's already on the calendar for, we just got done and we're already on the calendar. And speaking of just got done and on the calendar, Oklahoma Homestead Rendezvous, September 25th and 26th at the Southeast Expo Center in McAllister, Oklahoma. So we know we got to be there and be ready and start promoting that event. A lot of conversation going on about that and how to get ready. So that is the events that I have. If you know of an event in your area, or you hear of one and we're not saying it, or you want it said, let us know. Shoot it to us in the comments or whatever, and we'll get it on the list. Anyway, that's what I've got, bro. So,
Yep. Looks like it's going to be another busy year.
it does indeed look like it is going to be an extremely busy year for a lot of people, and events are piling up everywhere. So, anyway, so with that, we are ready to get out of here. We are way over. This is the longest one yet, but I had a feeling with Rich and Shelley it was going to be that way. A lot to cover with them, and I knew it would go there. But anyway, so closing thoughts from either of the Mr. P or Keith, bro?
No, I'm just looking forward to game day now.
Yeah.
I know it, right? I know it.
I got some other work to do. I've got to put some. I got to put some raised bed planters together today.
Get the camera. Don't forget.
I know. Don't forget to push play.
Yeah. Well, I'm going yard selling, and then I got brakes to do on a car. So lovely. Yeah. But anyway, and then
I'll go hang with friends. So
listen to football. So anyway. But anyway, so awesome stuff, guys. Great show. And again, special thanks to our guests, Rich and Shelley from Air2Ground Farm. That is Air, the number 2 Ground Farm. You can find them at Air, the number 2 groundfarm.com or on Duster Mud podcast, both on YouTube. Yeah.
That's dust, ER, MUD mud. Right.
Yeah, right. Podcasts, they're both on YouTube, so you can go check those guys out. They're an awesome couple doing great things. So, folks, this is the Farm to Table Show, connecting homesteading and outdoor communities with preparedness and self-reliance. Hashtag think outside the big box store, shop local. Hashtag stronger together. Hashtag connect and grow. Hashtag tablers unite. And so, hey, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, X, Rumble, and all those great places like that. Actually, I don't know if we're even on that one anymore, but but check us out over there on those places. But anyway, if you're not already, share the word. That's how it gets out. Be a blessing to someone today. Remember, it all starts with great people just like you doing this every single day, and we appreciate it. It's all about y'all. So anyway, as we sign off on every show, prepare for the unexpected and
keep it local.
Absolutely. All right. And next, it's time for Hank. See you later, Hank.
No humans were harmed in the production of this podcast.